Are the cruise lines hiking up cruise prices and now nickel and diming customers more than ever because so many of you are removing your automatic gratuities? I want to talk about it. Let's get into it. Now, if you follow my account, you know I talked about how Carnival Cruise Line has increased their gratuities from 18% to 20%, and that now cruisers are going to find themselves having to pay gratuities on almost everything that is not included. On a cocktail, you're going to pay a tip. Want room service, you're going to pay a tip. Stand in line and order some shrimp from the seafood shack, guess what? You're going to pay a 20% tip, even though you served yourself. That's just the way it is now. And while I said before, I'm not happy about this, but this is not going to stop me from cruising. It's upset a lot of you. And a lot of you say that this is it for you. You're tired of being nickeled and dimed. And a lot of you are wondering, is this because so many people are now removing their automatic gratuities? Because if you don't know, it has become a social media trend where a lot of people are talking about how they've removed their tips and they encourage you to remove your tips. And so a lot of you are doing it. Those removing your tip lines the last day of the cruise are getting longer and longer. Honeys, if you know, you know. To answer your question, yeah, in some respects, I do think that so many people removing their automatic gratuities has led the cruise lines to look for other more creative ways to recoup those losses. But I don't think that's the only reason why. I think the cruise lines are in the business of making money. And every year they want their profits to be higher and higher. And so I think if a cruise line figures out they can do something and get away with it, they're going to do it. And so while I think that it might be one of the reasons why the cruise lines are looking to add tips and fees to every single thing, I don't think it's the only reason. I just think it's one of the reasons. I get that a lot of you are feeling the tip fatigue. It is real. Everybody wants a tip for every single thing. But I do think that cruising is still a very good value. And while I'm not particularly happy with Carnival over this decision, I do think that there's still a value. Although, if I'm being honest, I'm a bigger fan of like NCL's Free at Sea, which I think is really a great value, and MSC with their Aria class of service. I still think that cruising is amazing. And I still think that you can find some great deals and have great vacations for a very reasonable price. I also think, though, that greed is a thing. And I love Carnival, but some of their decisions lately have just been, well, eye-opening. Eye-opening for sure. Now, we could get into the whole, like, should you remove your tips? Should you not remove your tips thing? You guys know where I stand on it. I'm not removing my tips. I'm not standing in that line. But I do think that inevitably there will come a breaking point where people say, enough's enough. I'm done. And I think as some of the cruise lines are pushing and pushing and pushing, they're going to find out. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments.